He had a huge heart. He really did. Even when he wasn't doing so well, he would try to help somebody.
Isaac Jackson struggled with mental health after a car accident, his family said. But on the night of April 25th, 2018, Jackson showed up to his parents' house acting differently.
He had begun to literally destroy everything in the living room. I was bleeding, my arm was bleeding because I had been stabbed. My mom decided, let's call the police.
She's doing my family.
Jackson was shot and killed by a Louisville Metro police officer that night. The Jackson family went to the police station and were questioned for several hours. Aside from picking up the police report a couple weeks later, they say they never heard from LMPD again.
There were no updates or anything made. We didn't get contacted.
As the Jackson family is watched, prosecutors and police release details of the Breonna Taylor case to the public. They and other families are still waiting for answers, more than 2 years after their loved ones were shot and killed by LMPD.
Wow, that kind of should have happened in our situation.
LMPD has a clearly defined process to criminally investigate officer-involved shootings, but they aren't required to share anything with families of those killed by its officers, and often they don't. Newsy and the Kentucky Center for Investigative Reporting reached out to representatives and family members of all 19 people killed by LMPD since 2015. 11 shared their stories. Most said they were left in the dark about how police were handling their cases.
I just found out today that certain people were supposed to do investigations. I had no idea that was supposed to happen.
He got shot on Thursday, and the next day was when I found out, Friday. They never did contact us.
He just said he got shot and killed. Coroner didn't tell us the police was involved. We didn't find out till the news came on.
Let my mother know what's going on.
Yeah. Before the world
knows.
6 families have been waiting for months, and in some cases years, for the police to finish their investigations. Until Newsy and KYCIR told them, they had no idea their cases were closed.
I still carry the detectives' cards in my pocket. They just said that I would hear from them, and I never heard anything.
Tammy Riggs is the mother of Billy Ray Riggs. He was shot by an LMPD officer during a narcotic traffic stop in February 2018 after police and another passenger exchanged gunfire.
I got an alert on my phone that a police officer had been shot. And I watched it for hours, and I didn't know it was my son.
Meanwhile, Billy was taken to the University of Louisville hospital and put on life support. Tammy says her daughter learned on Facebook the next day, and that's who told her, not police or the hospital. She says when she finally saw her son, it had been about 24 hours since he'd been shot by LMPD.
Because right now I have nothing. I don't have a clue as to what happened, how it happened.
Since the day she took her son off life support, Tammy Riggs has been waiting for answers. She didn't even know her son's case was closed until we gave her a letter we obtained through Open Records, dated August 2018.
This is 2020, so it's over 2 years ago.
In Kentucky, prosecutors are required to update victims on the status of their criminal cases. But a spokesperson for the Attorney General told Newsy and KYCIR, you're only legally considered a victim once charges are filed. Since 2004, no LMPD officer has been charged for fatally shooting a civilian, which means none of the people killed or their families we spoke with are considered victims. And so while Kentucky law requires police to return a victim's property, it also doesn't apply to families like Riggs. She's still waiting to get her son's belongings back.
I just want the little stuff, maybe his cigarette lighter and his wallet and his cell phone.
Newsy and KYCIR found LMPD's public-facing database offers no help either. Currently, 9 cases listed as open are actually closed. In response to our reporting, both the offices of Mayor Greg Fisher and the Jefferson County Commonwealth's Attorney Tom Wine told Newsy and KYCIR that they would look into their procedures. In an email, Mayor Fisher's office wrote that we need a more consistent and formal protocol so that no family experiences this again.
For my parents, This is a kid that you raised in church, who got scholarships for college. This is a kid who was, full of life. Just to be able to get some closure, I think that would have helped them out a lot.
Carrie Cochran, Newsy, Louisville, Kentucky.